afternoon, everyone. How are you all doing? Welcome to the 4th edition of the Red Sea International Film Festival. My name is Kareem Aftab. I'm the Director of International Programs. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank our principal sponsors, who are Visit Saudi, NBC, and Genesis, and also our official sponsors, Filmalula, SRMG, Showcar, Visit Saudi, TikTok, and STC. It's a great pleasure to have this event, another of our great In Conversation series. I feel like this is going to be one of the best. And to moderate, we have the superstar who is Raya. She's ready. Looking great.
Good morning, how are you? I'm wearing the trousers I should have worn for my Saturday for Wicked interview. Everybody having a great festival?
Yes.
Anyone interested in seeing Ranbirkapoor today? Oh, such a surprise. Let's watch a reel of that extremely interesting and charismatic actor. I can say without any exaggeration that the Bollywood fans are the best, aren't they? You have to show me all that Bollywood fan energy when I walk into the stage. Please welcome Ranbirkapoor!
Absolutely.
Please.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you so much for being here today. It's my second time at the Red Sea International Film Festival, and it's always amazing to be back in Saudi Arabia. But thank you so much for showing this love and for me. Thank you. I'll do it all. I'll do it all.
Okay, let's start from the beginning. You come from a very large acting family, I would say acting dynasty. Did you ever think you would do anything else than acting?
I think, of course, when you're growing up, you have, like, especially when you're in school, I wanted to be a karate instructor. I wanted to be, I wanted to join the army once. But I think in life, when you truly start loving something, when your energies are drawn towards a profession, when you suddenly have a burning ambition, I think destiny chooses you. Of course, I come from a privileged background, I come from a film family, So the opportunities were always there for me to try my hand at something in cinema. But initially in my early 20s, before I started acting, I always wanted to direct a movie. That's why I went to a film school, I learned direction. I assisted Mr. Sanjay Bansali on a film called Black. So I had the ambition to be part of the movies. Acting was number 2, direction was 1, but I think somehow acting just chose me.
Yeah, and I thought it was very interesting that you still studied acting. You know, not every actor does it, especially, as you said, coming from a privileged acting family. So you went to New York to the Reaseafilm School of Acting. How did you view that experience? What did it bring you? How did it morph you as an actor? Was it useful?
I think in your initial years before you start, before you choose your job or your job chooses you, I think it's very important to really form a base, what your roots are. Not just going to an acting school, but I think every experience should be an experience that helps you towards your goal. And I think going to Reaseafilm, even though I don't really believe in the method acting, but just the fact that I got exposure to that side too, I could take something from there. I could take something from Mr. Bansali when I was assisting him on a film called Black. So every experience really added, for me to be an actor. And I think one thing I always tell an aspiring actor or actress, if you ever want to be a part of the movies, I think it's very important to really look at life or experience life and soak it in. If it's traveling, if it's reading a book, if it's watching a movie, if it's heartbreak, just experience every emotion. It'll really come help in your work.
So you were away from home. That probably, made you understand a certain aspect of yourself.
Being away from home?
Yes.
Well, it was amazing to be away from home because it's the first time I went and I was living abroad, I was living alone. So that kind of feeling was always nice. And I think just the exposure to meet people from different cultures, different countries, interact with them, share your ideas, be part of short films. I think everything, just the experience of being independent was something which I truly cherish.
Did you meet any interesting directors at the time that were not from Hollywood in New York?
Yes, loads of them. Like I said, from all different parts of the world. I myself directed many a short film. They were terrible, pathetic, and I've kind of dug them deep down. Nobody ever get to see them. But just the experience of getting $500 to make a 15-minute short film, where you're buying the crew pizza for lunch, where you're in the cold, just you are holding the camera, you're acting, you are kind of making sure that the sound is okay. I think that all of that experience really adds up.
Then back home, did your parents ever have an influence on your acting, basically?
I think more than acting, my parents really had an influence in my life. I think the kind of value system that they instilled in me and my younger sister. I think my parents never sat me down and said, okay, kid, you want me to become an actor, so we're going to give you some tips. My father never ever advised me towards what films I should do or not do. Having said that, he was never happy with my choices. He always thought that my choices were too independent, they were too, because for a certain kind of audience, he always wanted me to do films which were meant for wider audiences. But I always believed that if I don't really, create my own individualistic path, if I don't make my choices, if I don't choose characters that I could relate to, I will never ever form an audience. So I really had to do it my way. So he was always, a little bit, he always had a battle with me when that was concerned. But never ever did he ever impose, you should act this way or you should do that. He was very take credit for your success and learn from the mistakes. It's very important that you do it yourself.
But you did work with him as an assistant director on one of his films. How was that experience and how much did it teach you guys about each other artistically?
I think assisting my father more than learning anything was just, the first time I got to spend a lot of time with him. While we were growing up, he was always busy at the movies. So, and we were always petrified of him. He was always being a short-tempered gentleman. But when I assisted him, I remember we were also sharing a room. So just those 4 months, like when we were shooting in New York or we were shooting in different parts of the world, just being around him and spending time with him, I think I cherished that more than the fact that I got to assist him as a director.
But it's interesting to be on a film set, to understand what happens from especially you have a lot of curiosity about film itself, not only about acting. So how much do you love that, being on film sets, in a different role as the one of an actor?
Well, that's the greatest film school, being on a film set, looking at the director. First you read the scene, okay, this is what the scene is, this is the beginning, middle and end. But now how the director envisions it, what kind of direction he gives to the actors, what are the actors bringing to the table, what are the energies, and then just being there it teaches you everything. I went, like I said, I went to a film school in New York, I went to an acting school, but the amount I learned on the set of Black, in that 1 year apprenticeship that I did, that taught me the most.
You made a lot of films at the beginning of your career, and Ajahn